Jimmy Carter only managed to win one state in the South, Georgia, in his 1980 re-election campaign, as he only carried 6 states throughout the country. I guess if you count West Virginia and Maryland as being southern states, then it would expand the list. But generally, I don't consider them to be that way, given how politically they've been known to differ from that of what the South supports, and they in some cases tend to vote more in line with the Midwest and the Northeast. You know, like when Maryland voted Republican in 1948, um, or how these states voted for the Republicans in 1924 and 1920, when the South was still solidly Democratic. But in any case, 1980, only one real Southern state, Georgia, only one former Confederate state, Georgia, votes Democratic. However, Jimmy Carter, who was a Southerner, still had some of his best results in the country. Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Kentucky are all under 3 percentage points. So, reliably Republican states get close. Louisiana is 5.5, and Virginia, well, not Virginia, but Louisiana 5.5. Only Florida, Texas, and Virginia weren't really close. So a lot of his best results are in these states, and this puts them par with states like New York and Massachusetts and Wisconsin, states that were considerably Democratic leaning at the time in terms of the margins. For many of these states, this would be the last time that these states got so close ever again. Because in a lot of subsequent elections, these states never were as Democratic leaning again. North Carolina was in 1992 and also 2008 when Obama actually won the state. Obviously, Virginia became a blue state and Florida became a swing state, but regardless, in a lot of these southern states, they have not been um, as Republican leaning as they were in 1980 again. Some of them were in 1996, 1992, when another southerner began running. States like Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee fall into, that camp. But but quite a few states still were not, because Kentucky really can't be considered a southern state because it wasn't a former Confederate state, um, even though it was close for Reagan. And Georgia obviously only voted blue twice since then, and both cases were it was in a tilt Democratic margin as under 1%. And this isn't surprising. In 1976, a lot of these southern states like Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina voted for a Democrat for the final time. And in a lot of these cases, we saw the South become considerably more Republican since it already become more Republican, but there being a southern on a ballot helped the vote totals.